wrestling fans. This is Rick Blade telling you to tune in for BJ and DG, best wrestling talk on YouTube.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. BJ here. DG over there.
What up? What up?
As always, sometimes Chef the Ref.
How y'all doing today? Sometimes. Oh, I forgot to have my drink in my hand. Sorry.
Got to get the beverage plugs in.
Yeah, I'm drinking a Crisp Lime by New Trail Brewing Company from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's a 4.8%.
I'm drinking a Crisp Fago Cola.
And as usual, my Dr. Pepper cream soda.
That sounds good.
So, how is everybody doing this week?
Wonderful.
Can't complain. Great week of wrestling.
Yeah. I'm just putting fires out all over the place.
Yeah. Good thing they're extinguished right now, right?
Yes. So, let's get into this week of wrestling that we had here.
Actually,
what's DG got for us first? Before that,
well, as you see, when we came up, I had this nice, and it was the social media post of this nice WrestleMania graphic. You know,
so lovely.
Yes, which is a tease to this that for the WrestleMania week, starting with the go home show for Raw, leading all the way up to the Raw after Mania, we will be doing live watch-alongs. We will have special guests as well. Any of our fellow people who do this would like to be a guest, please feel free to reach out. But we will be doing watch-alongs all the way through. Raw, NXT, SmackDown, both nights WrestleMania, Stand and Deliver, and the Raw after Mania.
This is going to be a fun time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 7 shows.
There's more wrestling than time, but we're going to be there and try to cover most of it.
Sounds about right.
So anyway, you said something that there was some type of wrestling stuff this week that happened?
Yeah, there was the wrestling stuff that happened this week, such as we had, let's start out on Monday night with Raw, where we had just right out of the gate, start off with John Cena and just what he's doing, just with his new self, just coming out hard. The fans, it's all the fans' fault. They did it all. And yeah, so here we are. And we've been broken up with. So
yeah. How's everybody doing since their breakup with John Cena? Have you had to do counseling or anything? I'm concerned for you guys.
I think I'm all right. I think I'm okay. I think I'm starting the healing process.
He was just a side thing anyway, so, I'm not really worried about it.
Going back to your main, eh?
But yeah, these crowds overseas are not fans of him anymore.
Yep. No, they definitely are not, and they are definitely making their voices known about it, as we have in our chat as well.
But yeah, he talked a lot of his history about him bringing up the spinner belt because that's what the fans wanted. It's fun, everything to, you guys
the best toy ever invented.
And then saying he's going to destroy wrestling fans by retiring as the WWE champion and winning number 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going for Flair's title, and I mean, there's someone else named Flair who might have something to say about who has what record for how many titles. But we'll get to her a little later. So as far as Cena goes,
do we have to?
DJ, once Cody came out and started getting in his face again, just what did you want to see? Did you think that Cena was actually going to engage physically when Cody tried to goad him into it?
I know that they're going to hold off on that. We might get that maybe a week before, maybe 2 weeks before, but I think they're going to keep them separate until that one last, blow up. So I kind of had a feeling nothing was going to happen, but at the same time, I'm fine with it. I'm just loving every segment, every chapter in this story.
like they both had very choice things to say to each other, right? Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and this is for two people that I hated and was not invested in before this storyline.
And even Cody saying, "Why wait till WrestleMania?" That moment where he just undoes his tie, undoes his shirt and everything, puts the belt down, and Cena's the one who walks away.
Yeah,
And then
very
the heel,
heelish thing to do, and it makes
maybe
sense for Cena. So, of course, Cena is going to try and disengage until he gets the moment he sees fit.
Yeah.
So, that's when Cena will, let himself attack Cody when it's time. So, but until then,
I'm still wondering when we see The Rock again at this point.
Mania. Maybe.
I think we see him before Mania.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because this story has even gone across. It's going across both shows because we had at the beat Cody for SmackDown this week and Orton coming out, giving him his props and everything, that he was impressed with everything he did when he left WWE and everything, and said regardless of who walks out, that he hopes it's him that walks out because he wants that a shot at that next.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So let's move on. We've pretty much gotten through what these two had to say to each other and about each other. So now we get to our first actual match of the night. We have A-Town Down Under versus Jey Uso and his surprise opponent, his brother Jimmy. We got a reunion.
Surprise
of the
partner.
Uso.
Surprise partner.
Yeah. We knew what I meant. So anyway,
we speculated about the mystery partner last week. I hoped it was going to be Joe Hendry, but I said it's most likely Jimmy. They've been setting it up for that moment to happen.
Yeah, and we got our Uso reunion. We had them with the feel-good moment of the week, probably with their win over A-Town Down Under. And so, there we go. BJ, what did you see in this match? Do you think the Usos are back together for any more than just this match? Or do you think that this is just a one-off on the way to Mania just for some fan service?
No, I feel like this is just a one-off. Maybe not for fan service. Maybe just to keep it fresh in people's mind. That like, hey, this is still an option later. This could still happen later.
Wrestling the Pod, what's going on?
Always good to see them together. I definitely believe that both of them are better together than they are on their own. I don't see this like as a long-standing feud with A-Town Down or anything.
No.
I feel like it's just a one and done kind of.
For right now, yeah. More interesting is what happens after the match. Because for the past couple weeks, Jey Uso's been called out for these botches, right? And now this week it kind of seemed like when that slip with the spear, and then they do that promo in the back with them sitting on the stairs, like he's in your head. This is why you're messing up these moments.
And it was very well shot how he's like, all right, hold on a minute, and just randomly just goes around the corner and he's like,
hey, Gunther. Snap.
The fans in the arena heard that smack.
Oh God, that was an amazing.
The only thing missing was the baby powder.
Really? Yeah, that was 5 fingers talking to the face right there.
Question for the
panel. So, did you feel that Jimmy added anything to the story for Jey and Gunther? DG, why don't we start with you on that one?
It's getting into Jay's head, right? Gunther went after Jimmy to stay getting in Jay's head, because now if he's targeting people that Jay cares about, that's adding another layer to things that he has to take into consideration. And that Gunther also feels threatened because now, hey, what if Jimmy comes out to help him during the match?
Yeah.
Gunther is the ring general. He's going to think about these things. He's very, like Triple H was, very cerebral.
Cerebral.
Like Gunther is playing chess, and he's not just playing normal chess. He's playing that 3D chess from Star Trek. Like some
he's
crazy
on that
thing.
Big Bang Theory tip.
Yeah. I don't think it adds a permanent layer to the story because in the end, we probably do see him somehow get involved. But, you know, well, in the end, it's going to have to, if Jimmy wins, it's going to be best for him to do it on his own. Otherwise, you know, all these fans, I don't think that Jay deserved the opportunity are going to get justified in it.
All right, BJ, same question.
I mean, like, yeah, the from a writer's perspective, I feel like you look at the pros and cons of having him being a part of the storyline versus him being not a part of the storyline, and I think he does really add something. He's that voice in the ear, that positive influence on Jay at this point. He's unfortunately, he's probably going to have something to do with the finish, and I hope that's not the case, but it is, you know, the way wrestling is usually booked. Yeah, it's definitely a plus.
As long as somebody interferes on Gunther's behalf and Jimmy's coming out and making the save instead, that's the simple way. Yeah, that's fine because now he's coming out to try to preserve the moment.
Maintain the babyface status.
Yeah, Jimmy just can't be the first one to come out and get physically involved. House of Cluck. Thank you for clucking being with us.
As far as I think, I feel like Jimmy has already added something to this storyline by he's got this match coming up this week with Gunther. So what he's going to do in that match, he's going to obviously try and weaken Gunther for his brother, try and show some of Gunther's weaknesses that he might have that Jay might be able to exploit because he knows Jay's game. He's going to get in there, be like a little experiment lab for him. Like, okay, here's a little prototype of what you can work with, some other stuff you can do. So as long as Jay realizes that, then he can exploit that information that he's going to get from this match that his brother's going to have this coming week. So,
do you think
definitely
Jimmy uses some heel tactics in this opportunity, and maybe, you know, does maybe a post-match attack on Gunther with a chair, maybe something like? Do you think Jimmy's like does everything?
Again, I think if Ludwig Kaiser comes in, I think there's a good chance of that because he's going to need to. But they're faces right now. I don't think you can have the Usos being the first one striking like that.
But they are still separate, so it's like
I think we see something to where, like, it could be a situation where Jimmy attempts to do that. Gunther still gets the upper hand, and then you get Jay coming out to make the save.
And
that's fine.
In either case, in the post, you got Jay like, man, what were you doing that for? I got this. Like, and that writes Jimmy out of the story.
This Jimmy thing's just a side quest. You gotta get in there, you know, to the main chunk of everything.
I would love to see no involvement, no outside involvement, and that's a good way to get Jimmy written off. Like, have him try to interfere, and Jay be like, "No, I got this."
I would like for the WrestleMania, I would like the WrestleMania match not have no interference at all, preferably, because what we're already going to see in the WWE Championship match is we're probably going to see something similar to how it's been the last couple years, because there's going to be people somewhere coming out to help Cody at some point. And it looks like Randy Orton could be one of them.
I just hope it's not like that last AEW pay-per-view finish where
Ryan Milky,
Evening,
how you doing, sir? Good to see you.
Yeah, I just hope it's not overbooked.
I mean, just real quick as well, since we're still on it, do we think A-Town Down Under makes it to WrestleMania as a team still? Or do we see like their blow up happen after WrestleMania so we have a story there?
I think they make it to WrestleMania. I think we
Yeah.
find something for them to do as a team at WrestleMania that leads to their breakup, and then we
Night
have
after
at
Mania, Theory versus
at
Walsh.
Backlashes where we actually get the blow off match to break the team up
Correct.
officially, and
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, because you don't have to do it now. You know what I mean? They're not going to push either of these
No,
guys.
yeah.
save it for the next season, so to speak.
You can keep teasing it.
Yeah,
But I would think that if you were to do it, like say in the next week or so, that would be a decent opening match for WrestleMania. I think those two could go out and put on a really good match to start a show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You already know what my pick for opening match is.
But yeah, so moving on, I guess at this point
Let's move along. Next up, we had the nice little vignette introducing Raw's newest superstar, the luchador from the Gulf of America, known as El Grande Americano.
That's not the next match I have on my notes. But I would like to talk about El Grande Americano because what have I been calling him El Americano for the last 2 weeks? Like somebody just heard it and was like, we can't let him be right. We have to add Grande.
Yes. And now they had to make him into a Starbucks beverage because, it goes along with the gimmick, goes along with the joke. And the obvious AI generation on this video just made it all that much better. Just obviously embellishing this story. There was a lot of people that just don't get the joke and were complaining about this. Honestly, I don't get it. Why? You know what you're watching, people. It's obviously AI generated. That's part of the gag.
Joke.
Yes.
I just can't wait for the reveal that it's Chad Gable.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
that's going to be fun.
Gable?
Well, we know it's obviously not Chad Gable.
What's up,
We've seen him in the back.
Podcast.
Plus, Chad Gable wasn't cleared to wrestle this week. He had a cold.
Yeah, right.
He was coughing the entire time.
Right. And KO was right the entire time. Right.
Yeah.
But real quick, let's the backpedal some.
Mm-hmm.
You skipped the women's Intercontinental title match this week with Lyra Valkyria.
I had that as next on my notes, but
we get Bailey involved after that match.
Yep, we do. So Lyra defends her title against Raquel despite Liv's interference.
Yeah, good solid match.
Yeah, it was solid. Not a match of the week contender in my opinion, but solid nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, BJ, what impressed you out of this match between these two ladies?
Every time I see Lyra, I see more and more of her ability, and I become a bigger fan.
I hope that soon they start giving her a bit more character development and they start adding some layers to this character. Like they were kind of doing it.
She has a catchy entrance.
Yeah, what is this, 2007?
Catchy entrance will get you to this level, but then it just kind of keeps you here until people get bored with you, and you just kind of go that way.
Yeah. But yeah, so also speaking of women's matches or upcoming women's matches, the contract signing between Io and Bianca, boy, that was an eventful contract signing.
Indeed, it was. Yeah, we tried to get this thing done, and Rhea keeps interrupting everything.
I just loved how through the entire time, every time Adam Pearce tried to announce that what he wanted to announce, it was just like somebody else had to come out or interrupt. Somebody always had to interrupt him until he just finally snapped. Like
Pierce needs a drink. BJ, what would you recommend for Adam Pearce to drink?
Well, I have two recommendations.
Okay.
First would be Underberg.
Okay. All right.
And my other suggestion would be Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis at SummerSlam War Games.
Interesting. I'm not sure how he's going to drink that, but cool. Good
No, it
idea for
wasn't
a
a
match.
beverage. It was I think that'll set him straight right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you
so-
go. That'll
yeah.
definitely.
And yes, GM versus GM. I'm dying to see Aldous in the ring again. I used to love Magnus.
So
Yeah.
with all this, with him finally after these women arguing with each other, and both Rhea and Bianca just still not giving Io her respect.
Yeah.
Like she is the
Io's-
champion.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Even
earned
if
some
it is
respect.
Bianca Belair's fault, and I've also blamed the ref for not the disqualification happening, and Rhea should still be champion. But whatever.
Yeah.
Hey,
we
get the
are where we are.
announcement that this week, Io and Rhea in a rematch for the championship, and Bianca Belair, who's a lot like Seth Rollins' spot in this situation, just arguing about it and everything. For whatever reason, in Adam Pearce's mind, he thought was correct. He makes her the special guest referee, who Rhea has been complaining about. If she wasn't at ringside and all that didn't happen, she wouldn't have lost the championship.
Yep. Yeah. Pierce, he was not in the right headspace making that decision. Obviously, he needs a drink to clear his head and get himself right, along with a match against Aldous, apparently.
Yeah. Well, that's got to happen. Aldous has got to straighten him out.
Yeah. Actually, that would be a good storyline. Like, Aldous comes up to him and Pierce, what are you doing? You're screwing up left and right here. We need to maybe just beat it out of you.
So I love the dynamic of like Bianca and Rhea being face to face, and Io being like, "Hey, guys, I'm here too, and I'm the champion." Like,
Look, Bianca Ref Air from Samuel in the chat.
I think I'd rather watch Con Air.
I'd rather not watch. I'd rather watch The Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Or the new Bel Air.
So, what do you think happens in this women's championship match this week?
I think that Bianca just won't count the pinfall for Rhea. She's gonna give Io the win somehow, some way. It doesn't matter if it's straight up or if it's some sort of chicanery, but Io walks out with it. We're still going to wind up with the three-way dance at WrestleMania between these women.
Somehow that we're going to get to there. I don't know how.
But I mean, I guess it kind of comes to a point. Do we even get an ending to this match? And Bianca Belair just takes them both out and walks out. I expect there to be some type of pushing back and forth between everybody in this match to where it just breaks.
Change hands or anything.
Yeah, like the match just breaks down to the point where now Bianca Belair's gotten herself fully involved. It's a three-way fight. You get Pierce coming out, match over, triple threat, WrestleMania. Rhea, you get what you want.
You don't want anyone looking weak going into it, so they're not going to make anyone lose.
Right.
I mean, they're already doing that with Io. Having Rhea and Bianca both basically paintbrush her and constantly pushing her to the side doesn't make your champion look like she belongs.
I mean, I think it doesn't look like either one of them have gotten the better more than the other.
No, but I feel like Io's at the bottom looking up.
No, I think they all look kind of. They and that's what they're going for in a sense.
Yeah. That I'm just saying, like, I believe Io deserves to be there. She was she was WWE Women's Champion going into WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, and Rhea's never beat her.
So if Io is going to pull off this triple threat match, and if Io wins this, is it going to be because Bianca and Rhea just can't keep their hands off of each other, and the two of them beat each other so much that Io just comes in and cleans up the mess and walks out with the title, which kind of still that wouldn't necessarily make her look super strong as a champion. Do we think that is possible?
I'm sorry, I missed that. I was coming up with my own little scenario.
So let's say Io
The short version.
Yeah, Io keeps her championship because Rhea and Bianca just keep pummeling each other. Io comes in, cleans up the mess. Does that make Io look stronger, weaker, the same? As she just like
No, it makes her look like the person who figured out that because they couldn't keep their hands off each other, that she was able to retain her championship.
Right. I would rather see that, and that would be fun, but rather than that, I would rather see just like an even match where anyone can win at any time, like one of those.
I mean, like I said, the only person I don't want to win this match is Bianca Belair in the end. So, spoiler alert: Bianca Belair will not be my pick for that match at WrestleMania.
I would have no problem with her winning, but I'd rather see her go and continue the whole feud with Naomi and Jade.
Yeah, because we still got that to wrap up.
I mean, I think once the Jade thing's done, Naomi moves on to Bianca because she dropped her in that promo this week in that video package. She said, I did this for you. It was always supposed to be you and me.
And by the way,
it's for The Rock.
Yeah.
They are so good at crying on cue. Like, maybe they're actually emotionally invested in the storyline or something, but you know what I mean? Like,
it's still real to them, damn it.
Promo. And while it's obnoxious and I hate watching it, it's they're very, very good at what they do.
Yeah, the whole thing is the moment with this Naomi thing, the way that promo, that package played out to me, it was like the combination of the whole I did it for The Rock thing and also a bit of the KO reasoning for why he did what he did. Like I got those vibes from it, which is fine, because it worked for that. But just so close, so quickly to have those exact same vibes to where I'm flashing back to that right away.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, and I do agree that it would be an ideal build up for Io to have her go through the whole scenario that I just did. But I'm just wondering, does that build up her strength, or does that just build up her smarts, or does it just show how wily she can be? Which it's not a bad thing. It helps you win matches. It helps you keep championships. So we'll just have to see where they go with Io's character development.
I mean,
here
I have a feeling right now you put Bianca and Rhea at the forefront, and as we get closer to WrestleMania, we're going to see Io standing tall over them at some point more than once. I think we get to where now, she's going to look strong because you're going to have if the champion's going to look a little weak right now because she essentially shouldn't be in this spot. It's all thanks to Bianca that she's even in this spot. I'm not sure.
Because we haven't seen her around. And same with Asuka and
Asuka. I think they're holding off on bringing back Asuka till after WrestleMania now.
Oh, maybe no. I figured as much, yeah.
I mean, maybe we see Asuka at WrestleMania.
It's possible. If Asuka were to come back.
Like we've seen. Yeah, damage. The remaining members are using like each other's moves now, too. Like Dakota's used all their moves in one of her matches recently.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Dakota has been wrestling.
Yeah, Dakota. Yeah, she wrestled 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so she's probably not hurt. Are they like still affiliated? Like, did I?
Yeah. Wasn't she walking in the building with Io Sky this past week?
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not being featured as a team right now. That's all.
Okay, and that could be a potential, like, let's just like keep this quiet. Maybe people will think, oh yeah, aren't they a team?
But we still show them together. We still refer to them as Damage Control when they're seen on screen, so fans are reminded. But we're just not seeing them compete together.
And we're not seeing run-ins from the other one.
Yeah.
So there could be a reason that they're like keeping that to a minimum.
Yeah.
So before we get on, I guess we should talk about the Intercontinental title match, and then we could talk about CM Punk's promo from this week, and that can lead into some SmackDown contract stuff.
Yes, indeed. The Intercontinental title match between Bron Breakker and Penta.
Well,
And
Penta wants
what
the
a match.
Continental title.
Huh?
Penta wants the Continental title.
The Continental title. Continental
Look,
class.
man.
So, no, wrong company, Penta, but it's okay. We'll forgive you. So, but yeah, this match was everything I was expecting out of it. It was just Penta and Bron Breakker, these two guys. I was looking forward to the match that they would put on, and it was definitely just as hard hitting, plus aerial as I expected and wanted out of it. So, DG, let's start out with you. What was your thoughts going in and coming out of this match for where these two guys are in their WWE journeys?
The match was kind of exactly what I expected of it. Penta style with Bron Breakker's style, who can move fast like a cruiserweight. He can move like the smaller guy. So that really adds a dynamic of him with that size and that build, being able to move with somebody like Penta and hold pace. Because you see a lot of guys when it's that size difference, the bigger guy typically gets winded at some point, and they gotta slow it down some. Yep. Like that match was a very good, hard hitting match because Penta can hit as hard as with the best of them.
Oh yes.
I was disappointed that we had the finish that we had in a DQ finish because of Dom, and then we had Balor appear going after him. It's definitely looking like somehow we're going to get maybe a fatal 4-way. And we're going to see the split of Judgment Day happen in the next couple weeks, which will lead to Dom and Finn also being in the match. The super kick that Penta gave Dom when he was holding the chair. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime Dom gets smacked in the face is a good thing. So.
And they definitely ended the show strong with that, with Judgment Day as the show went off the air, standing tall in the ring.
Mm-hmm. But for how much longer will Judgment Day be standing tall together?
It is what it is, but they're being pulled into the storyline of the Judgment Day breakup.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the focus of this story.
I mean, they're as big of a focus as it, but we're seeing it's like the comic books, right? We're seeing the same storyline play out from two different perspectives, and then eventually it comes together to form that one big crossover event. And that's how this is kind of going at that moment.
Civil War.
Well, this moment. But props to Bron Breakker for back-to-back weeks of defending that championship against top talent.
Yeah. Yes. BJ, do you think we're going to get another match between Bron and Penta before we see WrestleMania, or do you think we hold on to that until we get this 4-way chaos fest that it seems we're heading towards?
And that's the thing. We're heading towards this 4-way chaos fest. So maybe next week Breakker defends against someone else who's involved, and Penta interferes, and so now we're up to 3, and then I feel like it'll build up like that rather than just Penta versus Bron.
Yeah,
and there's a lot. They also, I feel like they want to showcase Bron against different styles and different people, with the belt.
He's just that good.
Well, yeah, but they want people to see how good he is.
And, yeah, and you know what? He is somebody I could see dropping the title at WrestleMania, and then we start seeing his push to like a match with Gunther or a match with Jay, whoever's the World Heavyweight Championship at that point.
I'd give him another 6 months.
No, that's what I'm saying. That we start seeing the build up to whoever's champion at that time.
I see.
And,
I'm saying
maybe
belt on him another 6 months.
Well, the other thing you do is you keep the belt on him, and he wins Money in the Bank as the Intercontinental Champion.
But then, yeah, I mean that would work. I just hate the idea of like a champion going after the main belt.
No, well, he can lose the championship before cashing in.
But then how are they going to do that without making him look weak?
It's the Money in the Bank contract. It can be cashed in.
He
either cashes in as a heel, like most people do, and cash in after a champion's been beaten to a bloody pulp. But
Right.
I would rather see Bron Breakker call his shot. Like, I think he's the type of guy who would go out there and be like, I am calling my shot, and this is when this match is happening. What I would love to see somebody do is have Money in the Bank going into WrestleMania and literally insert themselves into one of the championship pictures as the cash in. Like, oh, you thought it was just going to be you two, and we have this guy, we're just building up. Like, why has he not gotten the shot? Why has he not gotten the shot yet? Even with the briefcase. And it's just like, you know what? I'm tired of waiting now. I think I deserve to be in the main event of WrestleMania, and now this says I can do it.
Well, we sort of had a little bit almost like that with Priest cashing in, but that was after the match and everything.
Yeah, and then Seth Rollins inserted himself into the match.
Yes.
At WrestleMania 31, I believe.
Yes.
So but to have a guy call their shot, like, imagine it's like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and he's just like, you know what? It's WrestleMania season. Somehow I'm Mr. Money in the Bank and haven't been booked for a match yet. You know what? I am putting myself into the main event of WrestleMania.
That makes total sense.
Or into the top title match of his choosing.
Yeah.
It would make up, because we don't see the shot called that much. I think we've seen it twice. We've seen Rob Van Dam call his shot against Cena at One Night Stand. And then we saw Cena.
One of my all-time favorite matches.
Yes. And then I think Cena, when he won it, he called his shot on the 1000th episode of Raw against CM Punk. And he won the match by disqualification, so he didn't win the championship. So he won the match, but the cash-in wasn't successful.
Didn't Austin Theory also call his shot?
No, I don't think he did.
He was for the U.S. title, though. He did.
No, I know.
Call his shot.
That was a run out.
Yeah, he saw Lashley laying there and decided to cash in, and then he lost anyway.
Okay. I couldn't remember how that went down.
Yeah, so he just lost his cash in.
Yeah. Theory just kind of sucked with that Money in the Bank briefcase.
No.
So did
Otis sucked with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Well, yeah, he lost it.
Well, not just that, but they never did anything with him to make him believe. Like, that's an opportunity to strap a rocket to somebody and completely overhaul them over like a month's time period.
Without Mandy, no one cared.
Yeah. And even with her, people barely did.
Yeah.
So
and Tucky was long gone.
So how about the CM Punk promo from Monday Night Now? This WrestleMania match, because now I guess we can use this and tie into the contract signing that main event SmackDown this week.
Yep.
Because Punk made it clear, about everything. And boy, I guess he got what he wanted in the end, right?
Yeah, he got it. He's going to be main eventing WrestleMania.
He still has a Heyman favor to cash in.
Yeah, yep. That wasn't the favor. Roman thought that was going to be the favor. Nope. Punk just punked him.
But yeah, so fast forward to SmackDown, and this whole I completely loved this segment from beginning to end. The crowd, I'm hoping that the crowds, when we get back to the States after Raw this week, kind of hold this same type of energy where they are cheering for all three guys. Not all three guys are like Seth Rollins, I think, is clearly the heel in this. Roman's out for himself and Punk's the babyface.
Yeah.
But as we know, this was not a matchup But if I'm going by their actions of what we've seen, see, like Seth Rollins has gone out of his way to make CM Punk's life a living hell. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's upset. He's the one obsessing in it. Roman Reigns is just like, hey, I'm the tribal chief. I'll whoop anybody's ass you need me to. So you two are next? All right. CM Punk just wants that main event spot.
Yep.
And the ice cream bars.
Yes, can't forget them ice cream bars.
Nothing wrong with ice cream. And I did like the little Roddy Piper tribute that CM Punk threw out there in Scotland. I'm here to chew bubblegum and sign contracts, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I just loved how Roman signed the contract before anybody else even came out. Like, like he's so nonchalant and confident going into this, And Seth Rollins has the motivation to be able to blame Roman. You didn't let me put him down. You should, like last week, you should have let me finish the job. CM Punk is just being like, I came back as a favor to the wise man, not to you. I helped you deal with your family issues. And Roman's mad at him because he eliminated him out the run. Well, it's every man for himself. There are no teams.
So, speculating on the favor, I think it's going to be that Heyman escorts Punk to the ring at WrestleMania and not Roman.
I think the favor is after WrestleMania that Paul Heyman is now goes back to CM Punk.
Okay.
But I think that in a way, somehow it's going to get construed and Paul Heyman's going to turn on both of them and he's going to leave with Seth Rollins and help Seth Rollins win. That is one of my theories because we have to remember Paul Heyman's not a babyface manager.
Right.
Roman and Punk are extremely over. So is Rollins. But if there's any of those three, you can twist right away with a setup of everything. It's Seth Rollins to turn heel.
Any of them work. But
Seth Rollins, I think, shows
because any of them could play that role.
Yeah, but I think Seth Rollins is the most prime candidate right now because of his obsession and his hatred towards CM Punk.
I feel like that's just who he is. You know what I mean? Like he's always obsessing over something.
But this is more than what it's normally been. Like he wants to end the career of CM Punk with it.
We've seen him get to this point before.
I think
and Punk also, he's the same, but he's more chill about it.
Yeah.
So
and Roman Reigns is just like, hey, we're going main event. I'm main eventing another WrestleMania.
Roman Reigns he's like, I don't care, pay me.
It's more business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why, again, I didn't want CM Punk being involved with these two because they talked about their history during that promo this week, during that whole segment, and the history that both Rollins and Roman deserves a match one-on-one at WrestleMania.
Keep in mind, when it comes to WrestleMania season, WWE is notorious for being like, I know we had this planned, but what if we do this? This will work. And I kind of feel like that's what this is because there was probably a Logan Paul CM Punk match being talked about for Mania until crowd reaction or whatever it was kind of swayed them to be like, you know what, if we put him here.
I mean, I could also chalk that up as being a tease to hide the fact that it was going to be AJ Styles all along. Like he needed somebody to interact with a couple of weeks and just keep the heat on him leading up to Elimination Chamber. So that really would make a lot of sense as well in that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I know I'm going to enjoy this match. I'm loving the build to it so far. It feels like that CM Punk almost is being shooed into a spot that he may have been promised last year, which was that main event spot on night one of WrestleMania.
Yeah, and this is the make good.
Yeah, but I'll say this, and this match not only deserves the main event WrestleMania, and anybody who speaks to me about this situation, I will say that the WWE title or the world title should always main event WrestleMania as the weekend now. But I believe that this match should be the main event of WrestleMania weekend, not just the main event of night one.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
like these are like
we do
these
have
are,
Cody and Cena the main event everything overall, though. So
yeah. So Cena wins number 17, and you send the fans home from WrestleMania disappointed.
Well, it's The Rock doing the he's the overseeing all being final boss. So if he says that
Cody
his
wins,
guy
it's a
Cena's
feel-good moment.
I really think that the triple threat main events night 2, that main event's the weekend. These are the 3 biggest stars in pro wrestling in the last 10 years. And they all do have a storyline connection as of how CM Punk's tied it all together. Neither one of them have ever beaten him one-on-one without the other's help somehow.
Yeah.
And we've seen that.
Perfect choice for the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, this deserves Roman Reigns has been the top guy for 4 years with that championship. Seth Rollins has been a top guy when he couldn't have a world championship up until a year ago.
Yeah, and CM Punk is CM Punk.
And CM Punk was a world champion in that other company.
And also,
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just using some WWE logic here.
Well, I don't think that logic really works all that much no more, because it's almost Vince style logic, to where we can see that the unpredictable booking as of it doesn't look like it's a course correction. It looks like we've been leading up to this moment, to where a Vince thing like this, you would be like, there was no hint of this whatsoever. To where you can't go back like, all right, so they just swapped it to swap it. That's stupid.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of like adding Becky into the match because Becky into the match with Charlotte and Ronda.
You know what? But at least the way they did it, we could see the work up towards something like that happening, because it's the underdog story. That's what
I was thinking more along those lines and not just a random. Although one time when that really popped me was the Hardys in that multi-tag team match when they came back.
That was a fun. That was like
having a war with the Young Bucks.
So yeah, like that was something we talked about before the show started. You and me was how cool. I said how cool would it be if for whatever reason Penta has a mystery partner for a tag team title match and they don't win, but we get the Lucha Brothers in a tag team championship match at WrestleMania, because on SmackDown this week, they fully confirmed Penta's or Rey Fenix's impending debut.
Brother.
Now.
Yep.
I don't know if he gets into Mania though.
I think he does. I don't think, but if not, there would be nothing wrong with it, because maybe we could see him sitting at ringside during his brother's match. Because now they can actually show him there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they couldn't show him before, even though he was there for Penta's debut.
Right.
So that would be a cool moment just to have, because then you get him on screen at WrestleMania and maybe even get him involved in the match somehow.
But I like the idea of keeping them separate until they don't anymore.
Man, how cool. I'm just saying, how cool would it be as an example that somehow we get the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Lucha Brothers at WrestleMania?
That would be dope. I agree, Sammy.
Cool.
That would be an amazing that would be an amazing match, seeing them go head to head first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be cool. I don't remember. I don't remember if I saw it, but I think I kind of did. One of those smoky promos. Did another one of those appear on the show this week?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yes. Aleister Black.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, the smoky promos are Aleister Black.
Did they confirm?
Is that confirmed?
It's been what I've been assuming and what the rumors.
Well, because
no, they only showed his silhouette. They only showed his silhouette.
It's got that Aleister Black type of feel to it. It's got that, that spookiness. It's got that, supernatural type of vibe.
Could be Uncle
Definitely
Howdy.
has the feel. definitely has. It's got that Aleister Black, maybe not the House of Black, but
the silhouette looked like him. But that's all they showed was they didn't show anything definitive.
Well, so I had a theory when I think I saw it, and then I might have had to go back and finish typing something. But I was having a theory. What if it's Wyatt related?
It's not. They don't. That's not how they do things.
It was.
No, we got the Wyatt related.
If it was Wyatt related,
but it would be something different.
They don't.
No, we got the glitches for them.
Something different until it's time to do something different.
Right.
And if he's signed and he's debuting, why wouldn't they show vignettes?
Okay, so they show they have the Ray Phoenix thing on their YouTube, but they don't have that one.
Right, because Ray Phoenix he got named. He's gotten his first match next week.
Well, I'm just saying, as a teaser, like I was just going to quickly pop it on, just so. Another thing to talk about from SmackDown this week: the Bret Hart and Stone Cold match from WrestleMania 13, the first ever match being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's pretty
Gentlemen,
cool.
Your thoughts?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pretty cool. It's the famous double term match.
Yeah, and the visual of Austin passing out a bloody mess to the sharpshooter. Like, the matches, I love the idea of matches going in, because you don't ever remember a match for hold or move for move. You remember big moments in a match, right? Like if I were to say King of the Ring, what's the first thing that pops in your mind?
Mabel.
Okay, match. Like a match moment. A moment from the King of the Ring pay-per-views.
The moments, it's probably the birth of 316.
Oh, I there you go. I love that one. I was going to say Undertaker throwing Mankind off to Hell in a Cell.
That was King of the Ring, wasn't it?
This has the example of a match that happened at a point, or like another match that I could see eventually going in at some point, which would be a cool way to acknowledge him without putting him in. Brett and Owen from 10. That's a match.
I have a Hall of Fame potential match. One that I was at, Rock Hogan from Mania 18.
Match was garbage. You guys were
but just how relevant the match itself. I knew you were going to hate it, but I'm not kissing your ring.
It's my WWE Hall of Fame ring, man. I'm a Hall of Famer. Why do you think we have a match at WrestleMania? I didn't make. What do you think? I just sit around making graphics? We're booked for WrestleMania, buddy.
Fair. But yeah, that match was a significant, like, generational passing of the torch match. It's definitely a Hall of Fame worthy match. Not for the match itself, but
I hate on the criteria that I kind of set of like matches and their moments. Yes, but again, I only think those moments were good because of the fans, as compared to Austin Brett. It all was in the match, and then the double turn we get throughout that match happened so organically. Like we knew Brett was going to turn full blown heel of where he went at some point, but that just threw fuel onto the fire and just completely blew it up for us to get the Hart Foundation back and for us to start moving forward with everything else. But yeah, I absolutely love it. What's a match? What do you got? All right, you gave a match. BJ,
yeah,
what's
BJ,
a match?
What do you got
from WrestleMania?
Macho Man Steamboat.
Good call.
You know what? Rock. Even though I want to say Rock Austin 1, Rock Austin 3. Their third WrestleMania 21 or 19. I'm sorry, I think it was 19. Because it was every 2 years they had a match. 15, 17, 19. So yeah, I think it was WrestleMania 19.
The 2001 Rumble.
2001 Rumble. Who won that one?
I don't know, but
it is widely considered the greatest Rumble match of all time.
The first two entrants were the Hardys. The next entrant was Drew Carey. The next entrant was Kane. And not just that, it was
Pete Rose get out
2001.
there?
What's up?
Did Pete Rose get out there?
No, I don't think so. But not just that, it was 2001, so there was still the hardcore division. So that played in.
Oh, hold on. A WrestleMania match I would love to see get inducted is the Battle Royal style hardcore match they did with the Iron Man. It was like an Iron Man hardcore match, and whoever had the belt at the end of the time limit wins the championship. And I think at some point somebody actually comes out with the
Crash Holly won that, right?
I do believe so. I do remember at some point in that match, I think it's Taz actually comes out with a kitchen sink.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it got used, but I remember seeing it being wheeled out in something.
Say what you want about WWE trying to capitalize on ECW success in the early 2000s, but it had its moment.
It did.
Oh, absolutely did. But that's also because a lot of those stars were some of the stars that came from there, and you had those guys there to feed into it and help build it, which is great. Let's not get that wrong by any means. But yeah, do you think other matches outside of WrestleMania get inductions as well?
Oh, sure.
Like, that should be addressed. That's plenty of matches to think about, you know.
Oh yeah, there's too many to think of right now off the top of my head.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's a list right there. Like you need to think about that for a minute.
Yeah, Chris
I
Benoit
just
and
needed the
Kurt
first one
Angle
that came
from
to the top of my head.
SummerSlam.
Well, that's never going to make it.
Yes, it is. They're just going to say it was Kurt Angle versus Vacant.
Kurt Angle versus the Silhouette.
The Silhouette. But yeah, I think at this point it might be good to take a short break here.
All right.
Let me, I guess, get that queued up here.
Notice how when it's just us and we don't have any guests, we manage to keep it not just PG-13, but PG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you say something? Because my first instinct was just to instantly drop an F-bomb just to ruin that.
It's true.
We're only halfway through, and I've only had a couple beers. We'll see what happens.
You haven't spilled anything yet,
It's
right?
never me cursing.
Yeah, no spills yet.
All right. For our break today, we will be seeing highlights of the Key to the City ladder match.
Oh, this match was amazing.
From SPO. So, and then right after that, I'll be showing a thing for the next Spocast tomorrow night. So here we go. Oh!
It's the backseat where you at? He has no partner. What kind of crap is that?
Oh! Let's go, Tommy! Let's go!
Do it! He's gonna fly! This is bullshit!
Oh! Yeah! Oh boy! Do it! I don't like where we are now, either.
Get the key! Get the key!
Get the key! Get the key! Oh, man. Oh, shit. Oh! Oh!
friend out in the
JP rolls Griffin out of the corner. Boots meeting face. A spinning back elbow right across the chin.
Sling blade. And another.
Just hitting him. Whoa, what a drop kick.
Picturesque
Unbelievable height.
drop kick.
It takes a lot of height to get him in his mug right there, as Griffin is big time tall.
And JP floats over with the neck breaker.
Flipping neck breaker nail.
And we're back.
Oh,
With
crap.
all this,
You didn't see me playing with my dolls again, did you?
No, sir. We didn't see you playing with your dolls again.
Good.
I guess I gotta show this off and flex.
Hold on.
Oh,
What
oh,
did
where'd
I
we
do
go?
here? I don't know.
crap.
When will it be now?
Soon? Beautiful.
Why?
Not for sale.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Gonna prolong my life.
There we
go.
are.
All
And we're
right.
back.
And
Sort of.
for all your graphics needs, contact Eclipse Graphics. They
Top
just
quality work.
did, yes, they just did the ad you just saw for Spocast tomorrow night at
Everything I've seen from
spowrestling.com.
these guys, everything I've seen is so crisp and clean and just imaginative. Can't get
Crisp like a
I-
mango.
If I had the money, I would commission so much from them.
And that's the double main event for the 25th anniversary, silver
Can't wait to
anniversary
see that.
event.
Those
Simon
two
Gotch,
matches are going to be beautiful.
yeah, Simon Gotch and Drew Gulak, and then Rick Blade
be a
and
clinic.
FaZe. Yeah, right.
We'll go more in depth on those when we do our preview
And
show
don't
when we
forget
get there.
that we will be doing WrestleMania week starting with the Go Home Raw all the way to the Raw After Mania of WWE shows. We will be hopefully having a rotating cast of guests popping in and out throughout the whole
Streaming
week.
for 8 days straight.
Yeah,
Oh,
streaming for all of them.
And
Yeah, man, we're going to have some fun. with
there
this.
we go.
8
I
days
finally
straight.
figured out which one it is. Yeah, it's 7 shows in a week, and the bulk of them are Friday to the last Monday.
I'll pop in after I get out of work on all those nights, but hey, I should be there for all of Sunday night show.
Good.
But yeah, so where were we now talking?
We
Let's,
are on
SmackDown.
SmackDown. We had gone through the main event of SmackDown. Why don't we go back to the beginning of the show and start there?
Oh, but we also
Rewind.
did talk about the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton whole thing, which actually
Oh,
we
we
forgot
talked a
to
little
bring
bit.
up. Yeah, which led to Drew McIntyre coming out, and we get set up for later in the night. Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton.
Yep. We set that up, but we start off the night with the Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly. So in Pretty Deadly's home of Scotland, they get their title shot against the Street Profits, and not a bad match. Pretty Deadly gave it their all, but Street Profits just came out on top. And
That was a
DG
very fun match. Very
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
match
yeah.
to watch. I really enjoyed that match.
It felt a lot
what
less squashy than I thought it would.
a lot less what than you thought it would.
Squashy.
Squashy.
Yeah. I didn't expect the match to go as far as they did, but we've seen what Pretty Deadly's put into a good spot, like they were in NXT UK and even in the regular in NXT beforehand. They're a good team. Like they work really well together. They got a good reaction out of the hometown crowd, which was good.
Yes,
you
boy.
can see why they were in the spot, obviously.
Yeah.
But good
Yeah,
match. I'm still very interested to see how that whole tag team picture plays out.
Do you think we're going to be heading towards a multi-team matchup at WrestleMania for those belts?
Yeah.
Is this just going to be the WrestleMania of multi-person matches? Welcome to
I
Multi-Mania.
I hate all the multi-person stuff. Okay, tag matches, fine. But it's a lot of triple threats and fatal four-ways. But as far as this tag match, we got the Yes Boys. What are they called?
Pretty
Pre-dead.
dead.
I'm not doing that.
You
Well,
literally did, though.
Yeah,
got
you really
DIY.
did, though.
We got the Machine Guns. We got Angel and Humberto. We got
We have
the who else?
they have a stacked tag team division.
Oh, Street Profits.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's 5. That's the announced match. This is my prediction. That's the announced match. Bell's about to ring. It's a ladder match, by the way. Ladder's in the middle of the ring.
I
Bell's
say
about to ring.
if you want it to be a
Bell's
ladder
about to ring.
match, it should be a TLC match.
Add the Hardys to it.
Hardys come out, win the belts.
All right, hold on. So I asked this question. Is this going to be like how it was when they did the Ring of Honor week when they debuted, came back at WrestleMania when the New Day were hosting, and
Right.
they're
Yeah.
going So does that mean
exactly
that
like that?
All right, because interesting, because on TNA this week, after what happened at Rebellion or Sacrifice, whichever the last pay-per-view was, I think it was Sacrifice.
Yes, it was Sacrifice.
The Namath brothers challenged the Hardys, the Hardys came out this week and essentially challenged them to a tag team championship match with their titles on the line at Rebellion. So now, here comes the question. Is this a case where maybe the Hardys hold on to those titles in that match and we get the TNA tag team champions on the card at WrestleMania?
I would definitely.
You could just have the Hardys drop them at the next taping, and you let the Hardys appear with those championships.
Also, on that note, I heard that Bubba Ray and Devon would be open to another match with the
Yes,
Hardys.
yes, yeah.
Totally down for that.
I would love to somehow get Edge and Christian involved in that.
That would require Tony Khan to be involved, and we know what happens when he tries to do things with other companies.
They're in that
it's either really good or really bad.
Apparently, they're in that conflict right now to get Sting, because he's under Legends contract with them, to be able to do Lex Luger's Hall of Fame induction.
Do the right thing. Let Sting do the induction.
So the next match on SmackDown this week, I think, was the Secret Hervis.
It was with Piper Niven and Alba Fire joining the team.
I've been waiting for this to talk about because somebody's tag team got a nice little match and a spot on SmackDown this week. The Party Girls
did. BJ,
looking good for them.
Yeah. What did you think seeing your girls actually getting some action here in this match?
I mean, they're doing themselves a disservice not using the Party Girls more. I know they're not up there. They're not Chelsea and they're not Chelsea. Piper and I can't even.
Piper and Alba.
Jeez.
Alba Fire.
Yeah, they're not. But I mean, it's good to see them. It's sad that I have to think of the Party Girls after they've been champions the same way that I think of BFAB. Like, oh, it's nice to see her in the ring.
Yeah.
I feel
but
like
there's so much talent.
Yeah, I feel like they just need to be repackaged, maybe become a bit more serious.
How because could you possibly have a better gimmick than the Party Girls?
Ask all the fans that allow the crickets to cheer for them when they come out.
Well, they just don't get
there
it.
is that.
That's their fault. That's not the booking and the writing's fault. That's the fans' fault.
All right, John Cena. You've been rebooked.
Man, that was as quick as the Daniel Bryan firing.
Yes.
Oh man, but no, I thought the party girls looked good out there. It's just I feel like
in the ring
that the gimmick itself isn't over anymore. Like it works for that NXT crowd where it's 200 of the same fans going every week.
They don't really have a gimmick though. It's just like, oh, this is our personality. This is who, you know.
Yeah,
we like going to clubs.
Like I said, it's a very stale persona. Like it's very hard to connect with that and to be invested in something like that. Because when you see them in the ring and you were to just turn on the match and not see the entrance, you'd be like, oh, they're pretty good. Why isn't the crowd cheering for them?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not even a gimmick thing. Like I feel like their gimmick is fine. They're just not being booked.
If you're going to do the party gimmick there is a right way to do the party gimmick, and we've seen it done.
Solo cups.
Yeah, there's solo cups. There's there's the EDM death match you could do. There's ways to do the party gimmick right.
Yeah, play some beer pong.
Yeah,
the announce
sure.
table.
But I mean, the t-shirt guns that blow smoke just kind of.
You know what? For the first time ever, I just have to remove myself from this conversation.
Well,
it's safest for him.
No,
while
I
he's
agree,
gone.
Yeah, like they don't have a gimmick. They're just like, oh yeah, we wrestle and we party, But if they were put into high-profile matches more often and like given angles I feel like they'd be over.
Rather than go after Naomi, why don't they team up with Naomi?
Put them against the pure friggin' fusion.
Well, they just released Sonya Deville though.
Yeah,
no, that's a 2-on-2.
Yeah, but what do they have? Zoe and
Shayna.
What's her? Yeah, they haven't been seen in forever though.
That's all right. It's either of the party girls until last week,
I mean, you know what? It's a situation where I want to see Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark go back to what they were before the whole Sonya Deville thing, because they were a legitimate women's tag team that just got taken off the board and just lost all relevance once Sonya Deville got involved, which is crazy considering it seemed like they had a direction for them to go, and then they gave them this crappy name and nobody cared.
I see it a little differently, but I'm not about to get into that right now.
But I think they're one of the most legitimate teams that they go out there and you legitimately believe they can hurt somebody. It was just 2 years ago, me and Chef were having conversations about where Zoe Stark would end up overall, and she had a great debut, and it's all just gone. And Shayna Baszler was having a resurgence teaming with her.
Yeah.
Like you put them in that women's tag team division and let them be the killers that they are, because Shayna's a killer. Let's be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Yo, that elimination chamber where Shayna just like made a mockery of everyone else in the ring.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we need that back. We definitely need that back. All right, movie. Yeah. After this, we moved on to the U.S. title, where we've got LA Knight versus Braun Strowman. It was a pretty decent match they were having. I mean, Braun Strowman.
It was not bad.
Braun Strowman just being the big, strong guy, LA Knight doing what he could to get around and get over him. And then we have the finish of DQ because of DQ by Fatu, basically.
DQ'd by Fatu.
I want to see, like, maybe like in the next 6 months at a PLE, Fatu start some kind of gauntlet match and go the distance.
And
just
run
kinda-
everybody.
No, it's one of those things to where like you line up 5 guys, he comes out for it, and he just interrupts the show, and it's like open challenge right now. I'm tired of being left off pay-per-views. He's pissed off. Any 5 guys, I will take you each on 1-by-1 gauntlet style, and you just have him literally like Goldberg squash them all,
And the 5th one is Solo.
and you have him squash him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could like that a lot.
Hey, Trips,
I mean,
if you're listening, man.
I mean, it's a bit chaotic, you know,
It
but
is,
it would set up to something much bigger.
But
But
chaotic good.
But with this, whatever this whole this is another match, championship we could see being a multi-person match
Oh yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Jacob.
Seems like they're aiming for at least a 3-man match with this one.
I
I
think,
think every match on the WrestleMania card is going to be a multi-person or team match.
like it's going to be insane. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be a lot to call, and we have decided to undertake this task. How smart do we
Triple
look
H is
now?
looking to get everyone paid this year.
Yeah, like, but I really think that LA Knight has a title defense against somebody else, and I'm hoping for Jacob Fatu and Solo at WrestleMania, but it
you
could be
think
Braun
Fatu-
Strowman as well. Fatu and Strowman at WrestleMania.
Fatu has made his intention of getting that U.S. title clear. So yeah, he needs a belt or to be disruptive enough to injure a loaded roster. So I think Fatu does get that U.S. belt and bring it back to the bloodline or to his segment of the bloodline. And in doing so, I think he takes over that lead spot from Solo.
I mean, with Fatu, it's almost like every time we see him standing in front of somebody new or something, it's just like, I want that match. Like, I still want Bron Breakker and Jacob Fatu. I want to see Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed in the WWE and not in the Indies.
Well, Bronson's got to get over it first.
Yeah, he has to recover first, but you know.
I'm going to go the complete opposite of Chef, and we don't need to put gold on Fatu yet, for a long time. We see how dominant he is. We see how over he is. It would kind of like be a waste of getting someone else over to put gold on Fatu. Fatu, like, at some point it'll be like, oh my God, he doesn't win the big one. You know what I mean? But that could be an angle.
You know what? I have this to say, and I hope this gets clipped with everything, because this time next year, we're going to be talking about Jacob Fatu winning the 2026 Royal Rumble.
I could see that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the right time.
You book him strong through this entire year. You let him, and maybe you get a mid-card title on him at some point.
But no gold. No gold. We need that.
I mean, I feel like
something else that's preventing his dominance. Look, he can't win the big one. That's something else that's in everybody's head that tells them that he won't win when they see how dominant he is. You know what I'm saying?
So you think like he's got the U.S. title shot and Solo screws him over somehow?
Or maybe like he passes out instead of tapping out.
Like a Stone Cold. I mean, hey. You know, but it comes down to
But I agree. He wins the Rumble, and he's the WrestleMania headliner next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And maybe it's against somebody like if Roman has the championship, that Jacob Fatu and Gunther.
You think Gunther has the belt for that long?
He could get it back. No, but he could. He could
loses it, gets it back.
Yes, or however it plays out. I think he's in the ring. I think Bron Breakker could be the champion on the other side of him.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I mean, like, if it's a member of the bloodline.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we could see Bron Breakker already be involved with something with that. Jacob Fatu wins the Rumble and goes up against, hear me out here. John Cena, let's say John Cena wins 17. He does retire as the champion. Hold on. And at the Royal Rumble next year, not only does Jacob Fatu win the Royal Rumble, he wins the WWE Championship.
So
because they
put
had the crown up. The vacant championship goes up in the Royal Rumble, and Jacob Fatu wins the championship like that.
See, I feel you have to have a very specific class of competitor in the Rumble at that point, though. Like, you can't just be throwing in like R-Truth, have the fun stuff.
But no. R-Truth, because now it says it does. 30 people are going to be in this match, and you're guaranteed to walk out. Somebody to walk out with the championship.
In my head booking, R-Truth will be a dominant heel by then.
And if you look at it like this, only twice before, I believe, the WWE Championship has ever been defended in the Royal Rumble. It was vacant when Ric Flair won it in the early 90s. Yes, 92. And then when Triple H won the title off Roman Reigns when he forced Roman to defend the championship in the Rumble. No other. So it's a rare occasion to where the WWE Championship's determined in the Royal Rumble. And it's been so long since the last time it happened. Mm-hmm. What if Cena does leave with the championship? What if he does follow through on that? Like, that really puts us in a great situation to do something because Jacob Fatu has to be a favorite going into it by then, right? If this booking continues.
I think. Yeah.
And the matchups we're going to get that could turn around through this year, the matchup, say, like with a Bron Breakker or Gunther or something, that could turn around and be a main event match that we're now going back through instead of for mid-card championships or teasing that main event. We're now seeing this in main event stats, a lot like Triple H, Austin, and The Rock were. They were all mid-carders at the same time, and they each took that step up, and then eventually we got all of them together in matches. Mm-hmm. And that really helped establish that era of wrestling going into the early 2000s.
Yep.
So we are spoiled with star power right now for now and the future in WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Not anything wrong with that.
But I definitely think regardless of that situation, we're talking Jacob Fatu, the 2026 winner of the Royal Rumble.
Yep. There's a good chance.
I will agree with that right now.
Yeah. All right. So after we had that whole situation happen, we have another situation happen at the beginning of the next match, Michin versus Charlotte, where Michin hits the ring with B-Fab there, and they promptly get attacked by Naomi.
Which, as we talked about before that, there was no indication she was in the building. Jade Cargill was looking for her earlier in the night, and she was told nobody's seen her.
Then Michin and B-Fab showed a little bit of love towards Jade, and Naomi comes in and makes them pay for it.
Did I miss something? Like, are they just randomly paired together, B-Fab and Michin?
Because of their thing. Yeah, because of that thing with Chelsea Green and both of them pursuing that championship and not getting the job done.
So that was what formed their bond backstage then. Okay.
Yeah. And B-Fab needed something to do since the Street Profits apparently don't need her anymore.
Well, they're trying to push her as a face, and the Profits are now heels. So
I disagree. They're dressing almost in the dark colors, but they're kind of like Anakin in Star Wars. We saw him in the dark colors first before the heel turn happened for him.
Yeah, they're not quite anti-heroes yet,
but they're getting there. They're just angry and they want
the dark side.
They haven't quite gone full New Day yet, though.
They just want their respect at this point because they've been one of the best teams, and now they finally got the job done again for the first time in 4 years.
I feel like kind of like what they put off though is they're definitely not heels. They don't use heel tactics.
They're more serious. They're not in that party gimmick anymore.
Angry.
See?
So they ditch the party and they win a championship.
See, I'm just proving my point.
For them, it worked for them.
Dude, you are in denial.
It's not going to work in every situation.
Look. I understand it. It's okay. I understand it.
Thank you, Trent.
That's right, Trent. I am.
Oh God. But
So-
yeah, I feel like that's what it's more been because that's what the build's been since they were paired with Bobby Lashley. They tried turning them heel then, but instead of Lashley helping with the heel turn for them, they accidentally turned Bobby Lashley babyface.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, the crowd refused to accept any of them as heels because they loved it too much together. It's like, yes, this is
Yeah.
what we were waiting for. We all love this.
The new Hurt Business.
Yeah. So had
But,
to scuttle those plans.
So, did anybody catch if B-Fab's injury was something that was accident, or just from the attack and she was selling? Because after because a whole thing happens and you have B-Fab helped to the back by Jay Cargill after Naomi attacked him.
I felt like it was a work.
Okay. But yeah, and then props to Michin.
Yeah,
Because
on the way back, let's talk about the Jade on the way back helping B-Fab. She just stops on the ramp as Charlotte's music hits. And you get that nice little stare down. You get that stare down between Jade and Charlotte.
I'm going to say
I
something.
I want to see Jade make Charlotte her bitch.
Listen,
Yes.
Listen, I'm going to catch a lot of hate probably for this one, but then it's going to get turned around on you. All right.
Okay. Turn us
In the
around.
situation I'm about to say, I would be okay if Charlotte wins the title at WrestleMania and immediately at the next PLE drops it to Jade Cargill.
Okay. Yeah. As long as the matches are done well. Yeah. I'd be totally down for that. Jade versus Charlotte at Backlash. Yep.
Yeah, that is a dream match I have talked about with Jade Cargill. And also with the TNA relationship, I want Charlotte versus Tessa. Flair.
I want to see Charlotte beat the crap out of Tessa.
And the Blanchard. There's four.
Flair versus Blanchard. Sure.
Yeah, there's 4 Horsemen legacy there.
This is one instance where I want to see Charlotte win definitively, like in a squash match. I hate Charlotte, but I hate Tessa more.
Yes, I think we all agree there. Yes.
I'm going to my safe space.
If you know, you know.
All right, so while he's gone, we can talk.
Love the TNA fans, by the way. TNA fans do not hold back.
Oh yeah. No, the TNA fans are fantastic. So
we'll
get
to
TNA after we go in there. I got a whole list of TNA stuff we could talk about too.
I didn't watch TNA. I had to go back to work.
Understandable. But we did have an actual match between Charlotte and Michin here that did happen after the whole situation there. So it was actually a fairly decent match. Michin and Charlotte had a pretty good back and forth with each other, went through a commercial break. And even after Michin had been attacked, need a new brew. A brew of H2O. So,
like I said, props to Michin because she took a beating before that match. And I don't think it also doesn't help Charlotte any that that I don't know how it elevates her any to make her look like a more dominant person and contender. Like even beating Michin without being jumped, I would have the same thought there. Like that doesn't elevate her any in my eyes as having a legitimate win since she's come back.
Well, and then having even taken that long to beat Michin after she had been beaten down at the beginning, does that take anything away from Charlotte, you think?
I think it does more for Michin to say that she took that beating and still gave Charlotte a fight more than what Charlotte would have thought she would have gotten. Because that match was a good 10, 12-minute match with the commercial break. Yeah.
Yep. So, BJ,
I do wish they'd do more with Michin though.
Yeah. Like, did you see anything that gives you any hope for Michin to, get some more action out there out of this match, or
no?
Do you think that she's really got a tough road to hoe to get a little bit up there?
I feel like she's still in that like easy win for someone they're trying to get over or get heat on, but at the same time she's going to make it look really good. And it
Yeah.
sucks because her and her husband, the world's sexiest man, um, they you know what I mean? They're so amazing. They like there's so much there, and just like so many other personalities in WWE, it's not being used. Um,
Yeah.
her NXT character was phenomenal, and I really think they made her look strong in NXT, and then called her up, and she was just like, "Oh, we'll throw her in when we need someone to get an easy win," you know, and
Well,
it's
they
disappointing.
kind of they brought her up with Retribution first, and then they brought her up with
Well,
the
no,
OC.
no, they did not. There was some other blue-haired masked woman that was not Mia Yim.
All right,
I
so they
don't know
brought her
who
up with
that
the
was.
OC.
Are you really just trying to grind my gears today?
Yes.
Yes,
more
yes,
fun.
they brought her up with
Look,
the
look,
OC.
that's it. That's
Right.
it. That's it. If KO can claim it, I can claim it. I'm the WWE champion. Can't nobody tell me I'm wrong.
Sure, and Retribution never happened. It was all collective fever dream.
Hey, if that's the case, no. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt at the COVID WrestleMania was an acid.
That
trip.
was a fever dream.
No, that was legit. I was there for every moment of that. Like,
I was there for it, but it was a fever dream.
Look, there was only one fan in attendance, and it was connected to the ceiling.
I was under the ring.
You were
With
hanging out.
Hornswoggle?
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
see the Little People's Court?
We were spooning.
Whoa! All right, look, you just
Moving
ruined the PG
on.
status.
Dylan,
Thank
if you
you.
hear that, I'm sorry. I would never presume. Sorry, Dylan.
All right, so moving on, we get to Drew versus Randy, and Drew
What
gets
a
the win
match.
with a little bit of help from someone who's not necessarily his friend or anybody's friend, Kevin Owens, coming down to distract Randy during the match.
Nice segue.
Thank you. Saw what I did there, eh? So,
no, I'm
so
blind.
Mr. Guy with the belt over your shoulder claiming to be champion. Do you think Drew would have gotten that win if KO didn't come down, or was KO the deciding factor there?
I definitely think the momentary distraction gave Drew the upper hand to get the win. Because, we're talking about two top guys who one's not going to win cleanly at the moment and one's not going to lose cleanly at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Heel Mark. Man.
Good morning, Heel Mark.
Yeah, I guess better than late than never, He has the Phil Stamper way to do things. I'll show up late.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, Heel Mark, go ahead and scroll that little circle all the way back to the beginning point and start there. We'll wait.
Nah, we're really not going to wait. Don't listen to him. But since you weren't here, I guess real quick, go back over it. Starting with the Go Home Raw, we will be doing WrestleMania week with EJ and DG. Come on. Which one was it? I think it was no.
There it is.
There we go.
There we are.
Yeah.
And there's everything else.
EJ and
We're right
DG
over there.
talk
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. We will be doing WrestleMania week. As you can see, Raw, NXT, SmackDown, Stand and Deliver, and both nights of WrestleMania and the Raw after Mania. And just because I want to put it out there, we have in our heads been booked for WrestleMania. Somehow the referee got involved into the match to make it a triple threat. It's some type of abuse of power or something. I'm not sure, but that's what happened.
Hey, when you're the ref, there's no abuse of power. You are the power.
Listen, when you're able to see things clearly, let me know because referees.
Yeah, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone.
And I had no choice.
I can see clearly now. My brain is going.
That too. All right. Well, back to wrestling.
What's wrestling? I don't know what you're talking about.
We're early.
Well, what do you mean leave you alone, heel Mark? You came here. We did. We you started the conversation.
Now, fellas.
Heel Mark comes into the chat and sends us completely off the rails. But yes,
these things happen. So we get our final actual match on SmackDown with Jimmy Uso versus The Miz. So this match went pretty much the way you expected it to. Jimmy, Miz, a little back and forth. Jimmy comes out on top. So anything that either of you guys really saw out of this match that you were not expecting?
No, not really. The match pretty much went as what I would have expected from it. I was honestly kind of surprised that Jimmy won, though. But I guess you have to have him beat somebody going into losing into Gunther next week.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to look strong going over to the microphone afterwards to be able to call out Gunther.
Yeah. Which I think that's going to be a good match, and it's going to be a good preview of what we'll see at WrestleMania.
Yep.
With Jay as well.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, it's the finish we
I
got.
would prefer to 1D.
But yeah, why don't we?
After that, we moved backstage and we had Drew McIntyre walking back there. He talks to that Scottish guy, the singer, and he gets his little interview, and then he promptly gets attacked by Damian Priest.
If that was real glass, Jack Perry is crying right now. And I think Oh, absolutely. That looked rough. And did you see the Drew McIntyre post where he said it was real glass? It got in his eye.
He was saying that when he was laying there too. So yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Drew's a tough guy though. He can fight through that.
That's a match I'm honestly looking forward to at WrestleMania.
Yep. Yeah. So,
in all
BJ, between these two guys, do you think Priest obviously has the upper hand at the moment? Do you think he comes out on top once this whole feud's said and done?
Yeah, but it's going to go back and forth, man. There's going to be McIntyre is not one to just let that slide.
No.
Yeah, no, it's going to be.
But you know what? After the last couple of weeks of Drew having the better of Priest, it was good to see Priest get his a little bit. You could even write Drew McIntyre off for next week and be like, he's not showing up because of his back,
right.
Yeah.
But
he's already over in. Yeah, he's already over on that side of the pond. Let him take another week to hang out with his family before he comes back over stateside. Write him off for a week, give him some time.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think Priest comes out on top. And I don't know now that I think of it, because we're definitely heading for a WrestleMania match.
Oh yeah. Could be a one-on-one match at WrestleMania.
Right? There's going to be stipulations, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. No, I think Priest comes out on top because Priest has more to losing. Mm-hmm. Priest loses, and everybody forgets about him. Drew loses, he goes away for a couple months, comes back, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's Drew! He could even come back face." Yeah. With Priest, it's a different story, man. He's more touchy. I think he comes out victorious in the feud.
So, DG, what kind of stipulations do you think might wind up on this match at WrestleMania?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I'm at because you don't drop that out for any reason if you're not going to set it up.
Yeah. So I think that sounds like a good one. So we think these two could be headed for a last man standing spot at WrestleMania potentially then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
would you throw that on night 1 or 2?
I'd have to see the way the rest of the cards play out still, because that's a match you could kick off the entire weekend with. Last man standing. That's a great opening match for either night. And to kick off the weekend with a match that has that much heat on it and that much hatred between these two men that they've been building up.
Yeah.
You know, typically you go with a hot start.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so that brings us to the end of SmackDown there. Did you want to just go a real quick wrap up on NXT here? We do actually have something pretty big to discuss on NXT, a little bit of a historical undertaking that happened.
Yeah, just real quick before we get into that, Lexus King, Javon Evans Heritage Cup match was absolutely great.
Yep.
Oba Femi coming out and hitting that apron powerbomb on Evans. Oh, that looked good. And then you had the Dark State coming out.
Power bombs are,
then you get
April
Dark
power
State.
bombs are always tough, but Oba Femi just everything just looks accentuated coming off of him.
I definitely think Stand and Deliver were leading up to a triple threat match for the NXT Championship.
Yeah, trick in there too.
I'm starting to think that there might be somebody else involved with Dark State, because now they're starting to put a little bit of focus onto that NXT Championship, and one of those three guys could be not saying Oba Femi needs a group with him, but imagine
Evans has the dark side.
I did mention last week that I think Javon Evans is involved, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you might have.
You might have. Yeah. And we also had Ethan Page versus Andre Chase this week. Andre Chase's downfall, the whole Chase University, and Ethan Page obviously able to take care of him pretty handily. We have Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, their little budding friendship and tag team they've got going on there. Scar Jackson.
Also, by the way, Gigi and Tatum, I love their appearance on Impact this week with their match against By Elegance. That was a good match. You had the fun spot where they put Ash's face into the cake. Absolutely great. Loved it.
Yep, very much fun.
But let's get to the meat of this and talk about first, in the order they happened, Stephanie Vaquers and Jada Parker for the NXT Women's Championship, which was the first of two Stephanie Vaquers Championship defenses.
Made sense for me that this was the first of the two matches. Totally made sense to me, because you have that whole group that you're going up against with Fallon Henley in that second match. So you can't have her trying. You can't have Stephanie going against all that.
You know what? I feel like you could swap the matches and the exact same story would still be told. It's just what they wanted at the beginning and the end of the show, because those are the two most important things you'll see during a show. Is the opening and the closing.
Yes.
Because that's what
and they
people
were both
will
championship
remember.
Matches. So even though we had the main women's title opening the show and the lower women's title closing it, it didn't hurt either one. So I thought both matches were excellent. And Stephanie Vaquers is a talent and a joy to watch. I am very happy that she decided to start on NXT. Apparently she was given the option of which show she wanted to go to, and she said she wanted to go to NXT so she could develop, and that was absolutely the right call. She knew what she needed to do, and she's going and getting it done in the best way possible.
Yeah, so I mean, with her still learning how to speak English better, overall, it's just for her to learn that WWE style of things and how to preserve herself in the ring a little bit more. Because as you see with most guys, they're great in the ring in the indies, but sometimes they do moves that are redundant and they're out there tiring themselves out for no reason. You know, they really get to learn how to work.
Yeah. So, BJ, what did you see out of Stephanie Vaquers going through not one but two matches this week? How do you think she fared going through both of those matches?
Well, I didn't see NXT. I work on Tuesday nights now, so I do not get to watch NXT live. And if I don't watch it live, chances are I'm not going to catch it. I read about it. I see YouTube videos talking about what happened. I did not see it.
They post the highlights on the WWE YouTube page, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
But no,
but stuff.
I like this.
Yeah.
I like the story they told between both matches because we get Stephanie retaining over Jada Parker, who put on a great match with her. By the way,
Jada Parker's no slouch. And she's
you had Jordan. Yeah, you have Jordan Grace coming out and everything after the match.
Might have been a mild distraction there, but not too bad.
Yeah, you had Fatal Influence attack Stephanie after that match.
Post-match to try and guarantee Fallon her win.
Yeah. And then we get to the main event, and we get her. She retains both championships, which, hey, pulling double duty is not easy, let alone two championship caliber matches, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to go out there and defend both titles. And then you get Jordan Grace again out there with them, and it looks like how much Jordan Grace could be getting inserted into a championship picture. We could also see that being held off temporarily and a feud with her and Jada Parker. And I love, by the way, that I think it was, I'm not sure if it was that, it might have been last week, but it could have been this week. Jordan Grace makes a reference about not needing her juggernaut driver anymore, to explain off why she's not using that move as a finish now, because it is a pile driver and WWE doesn't do pile drivers unless it's for a reason, or you're the Undertaker.
Right. Because, the tombstone needs to be there. Yes, Jada would have looked weak losing to a beaten Vaquers, but Fallon Henley with the group and the group dynamic there, they were able to make it work.
Yeah, not just that though, but that match really did a good job of telling the story they wanted to throughout that entire night.
Yeah.
Like
I said, I think they got the order correct in doing the women's title first and then the North American at the end.
I just think you could swap it either way and just swap what happens post match, and you still get the same thing. But in the end, she won both matches. It was more of the post match. What happens post match? That was the real show thread, because that just threaded the entire show together.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Stephanie Vaquers on retaining not one but two titles successfully in the night. And let's move over to TNA and the partner, as we talked about. We had By Elegance versus Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, and a nice little crossover match this week. Fun match between these ladies. So what do you think of this By Elegance team? It's definitely elevated Heather. I think it's also kind of elevated Ash in the same way.
Also, by the way, yes, people, you're not hallucinating or anything. We are talking TNA.
Yeah. Yeah,
just
TNA's fun.
We have never really gone in depth on TNA. Just real quick, because I did.
What was that?
You didn't watch this.
I didn't catch it this week. I had to work a split shift. I had to go back to work.
It's okay. We'll catch you up.
Good.
That's what we're here for.
But yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I gave my impression. I liked the end of the match. I thought they put on a really good match. I'm anxious to see where this kind of goes, because we still have the Meta Girls to chime in on. From TNA, I thought the 6-man tag with Chavo was fun.
Seeing Chavo back in the ring, teaming with the Aztec Warriors against First Class and Frankie Kazarian. So another fun match there. Chavo gets the pin and the win in El Paso, as you would expect. Can't bring in Chavo in El Paso and not have him get the win.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you would figure would happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, booking 101 there.
The
Now,
second living Guerrero right now.
Yeah.
One match that was actually I thought they put on a really good match was Masha and JC Jane.
Yeah.
Like
Another
that was
crossover match.
like that match was actually a really good match. It was better than what I was expecting going into it. It's one of the better matches I've seen from JC Jane in a while.
Yeah, they both made each other look really good in that match. JC Jane was able to help elevate Masha a little bit and Masha, for whatever reason, JC was able to get some chemistry going with her, and they put together a really good, pretty decent showing.
Tessa Blanchard attacked Masha after the match because we know that that's going to lead to a match at Rebellion. Yep.
Yeah,
so
I fully expect Tessa to win and get the belt there.
Yeah, so do I.
Sadly,
like it just seems like that's where they're going. Eric Young and Ace Austin also put on a banger this week.
Yeah. Well, Eric Young, I always expect at least a decent match out of him, and this was a good match. Ace Austin, young guy, he comes in there and gives Eric Young a good match. But you've got the Northern Armory in your corner, and Ace Austin just couldn't overcome numbers game. Is what it is. Eric Young gets the victory. He's trying to show Steve Macklin why he should join the Armory and be an ally with them.
On a side note, another note of news from TNA: Chris Bay walked.
Oh, yes. He walked on his birthday a couple months ago, and then when they did the benefit event for him, that was the first time he did it in public and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, publicly, yeah.
But he posted a video on his social media when he took his first steps after his match and all that happened.
Okay.
Very, very good to see.
Tommy Dreamer made a huge deal about it on Busted Open. It's the most emotional I've ever heard Tommy Dreamer on the radio.
Well, I don't follow Chris Bay on social media, but it's good to see that he's publicly putting it out there. Hey, I'm back. Not back, but
Yeah, it's been a very good. Usually you see something from him, it's inspirational and stuff. He's just happy that all the proceeds and stuff that fans buying the shirts and stuff, and it's all really helped him.
Yep. And then we've got our main event of the evening. We've got Nick Nemeth making his return after his suspension versus Leon Slater.
Well, that was his return for the suspension was Sacrifice.
Yeah. Well, then
he was there last week too.
His first solo match, yes. Yeah. His first match after he and his little baby brother decided to team up and beat up Matt
Ryan Nemeth. Ryan freaking Nemeth.
You got any words for Ryan Nemeth right there, DJ?
About not right
what
now.
He and his brother have been doing lately.
Well, as I've told him, I'm a fan of his big brother.
Are you still, though, even after what he's been doing lately these past couple of weeks?
Nick Nemeth is at his best when he's a heel. Let's just call it for what it is, That's and fair. Even now with his babyface run recently, he still puts on great matches. Like him leaving WWE and getting to see being able to give us these other matchups now are absolutely amazing. Like who would have thought that we would have seen Joe Hendry beaten Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph Ziggler, for the TNA Championship, or all the matches that we see him having on the indies and stuff. He's wrestled for Memphis Wrestling. He's all over the place.
Yep.
After the match, after what him and his brother did to Matt Hardy, we get both Hardys coming out because they were attacking Slater after the match. They make the
Hardys come out for the save.
And they called out the Nemeth brothers for a match at Rebellion for the Tag Team Championships, which we kind of talked about earlier.
So here we go. Brothers versus brothers for Tag Team Gold. I like it.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the Young Bucks and the Hardys back right before the Hardys debuted at WrestleMania, or
Yep.
returned at
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
I mean, AEW, I felt like wasn't a lot of real movement this week. Just real quick before we move on to wrapping up, MJF and this whole Hurt Syndicate situation.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
MJF
intrigued
seems
by
to be
that.
ready to join up, and he got rejected by 2/3 of the Hurt Syndicate.
If he joins, we were talking about it before we went on air. If he joins, he's going to get like
So or he's going to turn on them and do something that's going to cause the friction.
Absolutely. There's no way that partnership would work.
Yeah.
I like that
story,
Big
but
Bill.
There's no way it's long term.
After that whole thing, you had Big Bill and Brian Keith cross paths with them wanting a tag title shot. They were like, "We'll consider it. Why don't you go win a match first?" You know. We had the Swerve and whole.
You missed the top of the show there. You missed the very top of Dynamite. Kenny Omega versus.
The squash match he had with Blake Christian.
Yeah, but we also had Mike Bailey and Ricochet talking afterwards. We got build up for
we don't have a lot of time left. AEW should do better things to make me want
to talk about Mike Bailey. We need more talk about Mike Bailey.
You need more Speedball?
Yes. So does John Belushi.
Interesting enough, Ricochet recording that promo because he also got married to Samantha Irvin.
Yep. So good for Samantha and Ricochet, I guess. Bad for the rest of us. So after that, we're going into the MJF Hurt Syndicate, we already talked about, and then we have a match with Kyle Fletcher and Brody King.
That was a good match.
Yeah, not bad. Kyle Fletcher getting the win over Brody King there.
It's a shame to see Brody King look so dominant in matches and just get.
Yeah, it makes but you know, at least he's still looking good and he's not getting squashed. Like we can't put him in the big. We're not putting him in the big show category.
No.
Well, no, he doesn't turn heel and face every.
Oh no. The big show's in more than one category.
Big show's in a lot of categories.
Yeah.
And then we move on to Powerhouse Hobbs, still trying to blow his way through the Don Callis family, and he beats Mark Davis.
I'm tired of this whole thing. Like, dude, you've whooped them all. Come on, man. Just let them be. The Callis family.
Yeah, he's got it bad for Callis though. So he just wants to destroy everything Callis multiple times.
I will say this. After this, we had the whole Swerve and Moxley face to face in the ring, and I'm not going to lie. That promo almost made me want to buy tickets to Dynasty to see that match live.
Buy me a couple. I got you back.
So we also had Rated FTR with their sit down with Schiavone, talking about the Death Rider. Talking about the Death Riders. Dax Harwood seems to not be on the same page fully, along with the other two guys.
Yeah, even to the point that on Collision. To try to save some time here. Dax Harwood, after his match with Wheeler Yuta, that Wheeler Yuta beat him, and I was actually surprised about that. That he gets in the ref's face, kind of like a heel. Like it was a clear 3 count. Yeah. Oh no, it was a 2 count. It was 2 count. To the point that Dax puts his hands on the ref in the corner, and security's coming out trying to get him. Cash Wheeler comes out pulling the security guard off of him, and now they're kind of butting heads. Where does this stand now completely with them going into a match against the Death Riders for the Trios Championships?
Yeah, I don't think these three take those belts off of the Death Riders. Not in with this. I
think that they implode and they turn on Adam Copeland. On Cope, I think
right, but they win and implode and turn on Copeland.
Really?
So now It's not the tag team who hates each other dynamic. It's the trio team who, like, the one guy is like,
Oh, so you mean like
Ostracized.
Wheeler Yuta was right before he finally finished drinking the glass of Kool-Aid from Mox?
slightly different, because it's someone established. You know what I mean? Like Wheeler Yuta.
Wheeler
like, he
wasn't
beat
really
everybody.
ostracized.
Right,
Like-
right.
Oh, since we're talking about this stuff at the moment as well, GCW has a show going at the moment, and
Okay.
currently wrestling is Megan Bain.
Okay.
So,
All right.
how about we talk about
That main event from Dynamite this past week.
Oh,
Megan Bain and
man.
Penelope Ford versus one of the best team names ever, Team Thunder Tits.
Oh,
I don't think we're PG anymore, but that's the price we pay to discuss Tony Storm.
yeah.
We might still be in some countries.
I was surprised at first, but then after I thought about it, I wasn't surprised to see Megan Bain pin Tony Storm. She's been undefeated since debuting. So, you know,
And we needed that to happen to build to
In order to
Yeah.
get Tony Storm laying in the ring on Collision.
even yeah, and then we get that, and Penelope Ford coming out during that. I'm going to be honest. I really don't like the idea that Bain is in this situation at the moment, because I don't want to see her lose just as much as I don't want to see Tony Storm drop the championship that she's just reestablishing herself with.
Yeah.
You know, and
Now-
to be knocked off right away.
But do you think that Tony Storm's character could work without the title for a little bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think it works without the championship, period. We saw it work without the championship. So I don't think that I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at it more as, if they do have her retain, you just wasted a build of Megan Bain.
Yes.
Just like we've seen them do with plenty of other people who are the
Yeah.
bigger talents.
Male and female.
But yeah, it's just, I don't get it. But
It's Tony Khan
timeless,
for you, baby.
yeah. Tony Storm works without the timeless gimmick works without the championship. It just sucks that if this was the case, why put the championship back on her, and why not have her be the one to defeat Mariah May? And then you just go into a non-championship feud between Storm and May.
Because for the Hollywood ending to occur, you needed to have a title on the line.
I guess. Whatever.
You
I don't know how.
it's the-
I still don't know how Penelope Ford makes any sense into any of this. But hey, whatever on that too.
It's because they needed another blonde to throw at Megan Bain.
You know, at the moment though, how unfortunate it is. It does look like Megan Bain's going to might win that championship, but I could see Tony Storm being the one to end that streak, retain her championship, and you know, that's where it goes. What did you guys think of Jay White and the debut of Kevin Knight from Collision this week?
I thought it was fine. Jay White, I fully expected him to win this match the entire time, and he did. And he has his promo afterwards where he puts himself into the Owen Hart tournament.
We had plenty of people doing that. We get the brackets this Wednesday on Dynamite for the Owen.
Yep. Yes, we do. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a fine match. I mean, Kevin Knight didn't particularly impress me. Super, like, I mean, he seems like he's a fine developmental guy. He'll be coming up in the ranks, and yeah, we'll see what they do with him, and if he even is around in another couple of months for us to remember talking about him. You lost volume there.
Yeah, my bad.
All right, there you are.
Yeah, Mercedes Moné declared for the Owen after her match with Robin Renegade, which I'm sorry.
Robin Renegade, she never wins. If you
Yeah.
see her in a match, you know the other person's winning.
It's not just that. It's Mercedes Moné is not interesting in AEW. Without the WWE machine behind her, she's not interesting.
She's got moments where she's better, but it's definitely like up and down and up and down.
Like I'm not saying she's improved since a year ago, but I feel like this has been very lackluster. Like again, you're making somebody else a belt collector, but
yeah,
they're not doing anything.
right.
Like, what has she done that's been anywhere near relevant so far? What had a match with Billy Starks last week?
Yeah,
Like,
which was
like
fine.
she's not. I don't understand why she is still the TBS champion. I don't care about the other championships. Like that, they're with other companies that I rarely am able to watch, so I don't even know what's going on with them. But I know what's going on with that TBS championship right now, and it's like Jade and Chris Statlander built it up, and so did Willow to a point, and now
And it just went-
Mercedes, yeah, and
Yeah.
now she's declared for the Owen. We had Athena appear during that. I'm hoping
Yes, we did.
Athena is in the Owen as well. She is the current and longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's World Champion.
Yep. Good for
So, yeah. Billy Stark, speaking of her, I was happy to see her in the main event with Jamie Hayter this week.
Yeah. I fully expected that match to go the way it was. Because Jamie Hayter in a main event. You're not going to have her lose to Billy Starks. Not now. Because
Billy Starks, being as young as she is, I think she's 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
Like, and to be in the main event of one of those shows, and what I've been able to see of her from Ring of Honor, when I do watch Ring of Honor, she's improving every time. Like, she's going to have a future. I hope she kind of gets. I think she might have been in the WWE system at one point. I don't remember.
She's
If
definitely like Roxanne Perez's age, so she would have been real young when she was there.
Well, this wasn't all that long ago. This is like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Something like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And I could be wrong, and I could be thinking about somebody else.
So Top Flight also had a couple of matches this week. They won one against that was why can't I read my own damn writing? They won on Wednesday night, and they lost on Saturday night to the Learning Tree.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the best things I saw this week was the big Daniel Garcia, Adam Cole face-off after their time limit draw last week.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to this match, but I also have to bring this up. So I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but as the guys are coming out to the ring, right? No match has been made official yet. While these guys are coming down to the ring to discuss this match, and this is live. Last night's collision was live. It wasn't pre-taped. They reveal that there's going to be a match between these guys at Dynasty, but the way they cut the promo in the ring and had the face-to-face was like they were hyping and working to it to confirm the match. Like, you can't be doing that, because now I'm expecting them to talk about a match that was booked, not a match that could hypothetically be booked.
Right.
Even though I thought the whole segment went over great. That's just
overall,
really big thing when you.
Yeah, overall,
I guess
good
I
segment.
should expect. Oh, a commercial for Lunacy on GCW. Look at that.
Nice.
Awesome. Good for them.
Well, some crossover wrestlers between both promotions.
I think JCW is supposed to be there tonight, so I'm about a half hour behind on the show. I have it muted, so just saw the back seats on the package for Lunacy.
Backseat boys are back.
But yeah, again, like I said, I feel like AEW, even though they're doing solid shows, there's nothing really over the top. There's nothing. Oh, they're showing now a commercial for the Gathering.
Oh,
And
nice.
GCW is going to be at the Gathering, it looks like.
Nice. Yeah, I know there's wrestling every night at the Gathering, so we'll definitely be watching some wrestling there. We'll be seeing some music.
Yeah,
There's comedians.
Since we will be at the Gathering.
Yes.
BJ, you're going to be running the ship alone that weekend. Best of luck to you.
I mean, we'll be posting stuff from there too. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, Sunday is going to be the drive home night. So
yeah,
Right.
and it's going to be on Triller.
nice.
The 2-day war it's between them. So, hey, maybe we'll make our Triller debut at that point, being seen
Nice.
in a crowd.
Beautiful.
But now MLJ, who will be at the Silver Anniversary on April 27th, doing his
All right,
usual
be good to
GCW ring announcing gig.
Be good to hear him announcing the SPO names again.
Okay, looks like it's the JCW segment of the show. That makes
All
sense
right.
since they just showed all that. But anyway, yeah, AEW, just solid shows, but nothing that really
nothing.
sticks out to me match wise.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
So how about if we get to that segment where we talk about what did stick out to us match wise?
All right, so
Yeah.
if I can,
Yeah,
there it is.
that-
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
it is now time for us to pick our match of the week. So, who's going first this week?
I'll go first.
Yeah, BJ's all the way up top.
All right, match of the week.
Despite not having a definitive finish, that breaker match. Whoa, there we go. that breaker match, 100%.
All right. Bron Breakker
All
versus
right.
Penta for
Chef,
BJ.
Shep, what about you?
That one was definitely one of the. I had 3 that I starred this week. That was one of them. The one that I am actually going with, though, I am going to go with Stephanie Vaquers and her North American title match to be the second one of the night that she won, retaining not just 1 but 2 titles in one evening. That is a very, very difficult feat for anybody. So yeah, my match of the week goes to Stephanie Vaquers and Fallon Henley with that North American title match.
All right. For me personally, no match really truly stuck out to me this week. You know, I felt like everything I saw was really good. Like great shows all the way around for WWE. TNA had a great show. I'm actually going to pick a match from TNA this week, and Nick Nemeth versus Leon Slater for my match of the week.
Nice.
I felt like that was just a good all-around main event. To where on the other shows, you know, like we had a DQ finish for a main event on Raw. We had a promo main event SmackDown. And the NXT women go out there and kill it every week.
They do.
You know, like that is the best women's division in wrestling right now, hands down.
Yeah.
And it's a developmental brand.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you're going to see some really good stuff in developmental areas. So easy for me to say.
Oh, back seats are working GCW right now.
Oh, nice.
Well, half an hour ago.
Well, yeah, half hour ago. It looks like they're with the Wraith, and they're taking on Danny Moe and the Brothers of Fudstruction. I really don't know what's going on because I have it muted, but so I have no context to anything I'm seeing.
Let's wrap it up and take it home so that you can go and get some context on all this stuff.
Oh, well. Yeah, so again, just to remind everybody from our announcement we made a couple times already, WrestleMania week, we will be live streaming watch along for that Raw, NXT, SmackDown, Stand Deliver, both nights of WrestleMania and the Raw after Mania. We will probably also be having some special guests. If any other creators would like to join us for a match, please reach out. You can reach out to me at Instagram at the Danger Ginger 1. Great show this week, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Again,
we'll see everyone next week.
Yep. Don't forget to check out Spokecast if you can tomorrow night. Quickly again, I'll just show what's going on. So they're doing a watch along for JP Grayson versus Griffin McCoy from Key to the City.
JP rolls Griffin out of the corner. Boots meeting face. A spinning back elbow right across the chin.
Sling blade. And another.
Just hitting him. Whoa, what a drop kick.
Picturesque drop kick.
It takes a lot of height to get him in his mug right there, as Griffin is big time tall.
And JP floats over with the neck breaker.
Flipping neck breaker.
I love that video billboard graphic.
Yes. Done by Eclipse Graphics. Reach out to them for all your graphic needs. You can contact them at email eclipsegraphics1@gmail.com or on Instagram by DM at Eclipse Graphics. Eclipse_graphics.
Make sure you got that underscore.
With an X and not the typical American English spelling.
Yeah, we're weird. But it's a good thing we're not on just audio and we're actually video. So anybody watching this,
they're extreme.
I guess we're close enough to Philly for that to work. But yeah, everybody, great show this week. And keep putting good into the world. Needs it more than ever. Also, very quickly, shout out to now the former ISPW champion, GKM, after he was suffered an injury this past week, had to have surgery, had to vacate the championship. Hope you have a quick recovery and to see you back in the ring real soon.
So who's the new champion? Bret Hart?
No. And even if it was, he would be rated at best of 4 out of 10.
Sounds like a screw job to me.
Only if it's in Montreal.
Yeah, this was in Jersey, so no screw jobs going on here.
But yeah, guys,
that Gotch Gulak match, that's going to be a clinic. I'm there for it. Blade versus Face, that's going to be a brawl. I'm there for that too.
Yeah, we will be. So, guys, again, great show. Everybody, thank you for tuning in and putting up with us. See you all next week. I'm the Danger Ginger. That's BJ up above me, and down below is the referee we only pay in hot dogs. Because that's all we can afford.
Hot dogs are delicious. What can I say? I also accept pizza.
Well, will you accept a microwave pizza?
Really going to depend on the brand there.
All right. Look.
Out Mama Celeste.
Not bad. Does it come with the little metal reflective thing?
Always.
Okay, good. Yeah, sure. That's good.
Look, the best I can do is the DiGiorno's.
Hey, whoa! Coming with the thunder.
Yeah. Gotta have a regular oven though for the DiGiorno though. That doesn't self-rise in the microwave.
But all right, guys, you guys have a good week. Go out there, enjoy some wrestling. I'm currently watching GCW personally. So everybody have a good week, and we'll see you next week for another episode of BJ and DG Talk Wrestling.
Hey, I'm Livewire Charlie. And I'm Danger Ross. And we are Live Danger. And you're watching BJ and DG Talk Wrestling.